Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit Acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
It's a little thing we call the Cam Show, live on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm Cam. Cam Stewart bringing you the Cam Show. Zach Burke keeping us on the air. And, it's a Friday. We want to be in good spirits. We're going to talk about, something a little joyous to start your Friday. And that would be, of course, the state of the New England Patriots. Patriots, Bills, Sunday, the finale, with franchise-altering implications potentially. Because if the Patriots just do what they do all the time and just lose the game, they will have the number one pick in the NFL draft. And having the number one pick, look, there's been busts before. Don't get me wrong. But in the Patriots' current situation, it is nearly foolproof. Nearly foolproof. Because if they get that number one pick, they're not picking number one. They're not doing that. There are two teams right behind them in the top 5 that need a quarterback. And we know quarterbacks always go number one now. They will trade that pick, and they will get a draft pick haul, hopefully, and still pick within the top 5 and have their choice at whomever the top non-quarterback is. Zach, I want to bring you in here for a second because I need to lean on your expertise if I can. Zach, you're a long-time born and bred Houston Texans fan, right?
Yeah, I am.
And there's some good and some bad with that. I'm going to lean on you. I'm going to lean on you for years gone by. All right, Texans underachieve a little bit this year, probably, but in a good position. Now, there have been years where the Texans have been in contention and have had the number one pick in the NFL draft. Do you recall situations where you were actually rooting for your team to lose at the end of the season?
Yes.
Can you take me through that, please? What that conflict is like?
So, well,
was it even a conflict at that point in the season?
Here's the thing that I think is different for us, though, is that you have had a point and in your lifetime where the franchise you support has reached the pinnacle that, well, especially for you, that has reached a pinnacle that very few teams and franchises get to. Not just win a championship, but win multiple championships. See, I was a fan of a franchise where when this was going on, we still had yet to make a playoff appearance. So at that point, rooting to lose a game, you're just like, oh, we're going to go 3-13 this year instead of 4-12. That's not too bad.
Bummer.
Exactly. Now we get to decide, do we want Mario Williams or Reggie Bush or Vince Young, or nobody really pushed for Matt Leinart. I can tell you that.
That's probably a good thing. Yeah, did he end up playing for the Texans at one point?
Yes, later on he did.
I was thinking.
And yeah.
Oh, geez. I still remember the Mario gloves at the time Reliant Stadium. The big Super Mario gloves for Mario Williams. Yep. The fans in the stands. God, what a time!
They made the best pick there.
Yeah, it was actually the right pick. I know it was much maligned at the time. I think everyone in the world wanted Reggie Bush.
True. I would argue, and this might be a bold claim, but it's something that I can hang on to, that when my team has had the first overall pick, they usually get it right. 3 times. They usually get it right. I would argue that the first one, when they took Derek Carr, wasn't Derek Carr's fault. I mean,
David Carr.
I'm sorry, David. That's the thing. Yeah. Damn brothers. But
Derek was better.
Derek was better. But I don't
think
David
didn't have a chance. You're right. He didn't have a chance.
So I can't fully put that on him, but going defense seemed to work out really well with both Clowney and with Mario Edwards, or Mario Williams. But I think that in all those instances, though, it was a team that had never reached the pinnacle that your team had. So rooting for them to lose didn't necessarily feel too bad. Like, obviously you feel weird being like, come on, maybe we can throw an interception. Like, you don't want to do that, but you're heartbroken if it happens.
That's the thing, which I'm sure was similar with the Texans. It's going to be that way with the Patriots. It's like, how hard do you even have to root for it? This is nature taking its course, right? Yeah. Like, they always lose. The problem I have with this game, and it's my greatest fear coming true, is that it's against Buffalo. Buffalo has their spot. They have nothing to play for. I said this yesterday, and I still didn't even bother to look it up. I don't know who their backup quarterback is. I think it might be Mitch Trubisky.
I'll look it
I don't
up.
know. But they're just going to roll a bunch of scrubs out there. And it's a Patriots home game, which again doesn't mean much. They've won 2 home games in 2 years, and they might just fuck around and win. I really hope that's not the case.
You would be correct. It is. Oh, Mitch Trubisky. Well,
Yep.
I lost my.
Potentially an all North Carolina matchup in Bill Belichick's old stomping grounds. Boy, isn't that something? Isn't that something? In a place where UNC just a state where UNC just lost, by the way. So, all right, I'll be rooting for the Patriots to lose comfortably this week, just to take the drama out of it and to keep that number 1 pick in the draft, which they have. They control their destiny. Somehow, for some reason, the Giants won a game last week. I don't know why they did that. Drew Lock threw, 5 touchdown passes, and they can't get out of their own way. It's funny what has happened to those New York franchises. They're so bad. They cannot get out of their own way, and now they might have coughed up the number 1 pick in the draft. It was an ugly scene on Sunday when the Patriots lost to the Chargers. It was 40-7, one of the worst home losses they've ever had, let alone at that stadium, which has seen so much success from their teams. And it was particularly bad towards the end of the game. The Patriots fans were obviously booing. There were some fire Mayo chants. And the way I react to that is like, that's what you get. When you're 3-13 and you just lost by 33 points at home for a team that just went across the country on the week of Christmas, like that's what you get. You've put out a dog shit product the last 2 seasons. That's what comes with the territory. But we know some Patriots players have pushed back on it. Dietrich Wise echoed a sentiment that's been said about Patriots fans for years, especially when they're fed up, is that, hey, Patriots fans are spoiled. They're not used to this. And of course, like my generation, I'm almost 30 years. I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20. And all I've seen is winning. And so, yeah, this is foreign territory. And maybe we are a little bit spoiled. But when you're going to win 6 games combined in 2 seasons, or 7 games combined in 2 seasons, like, you have a right to be upset. I think you have a right to be upset, especially if you're at the game. Well, Jelani Tavai does not think you have that right. He went on the Greg Hill show this morning and said this about Patriots fans.
I don't know. I was frustrated. I definitely think I told a fan to quiet down in a non polite way.
But can you see how, can you see as a player, and I've played before, when fans are booing and they're calling for coaches' jobs, can you see, I get why fans are doing that when we put a product out that doesn't look that good, rather than being, going kind of what Dietrich Wise said and going, all right, these, fans tend to be a little bit spoiled. But do you see the side that the fans are coming from when the product looks bad?
I don't know. There's a reason why they're fans. Everybody can say what they think that we should be doing, but in the long end, they're not qualified to do what Mayo's doing, or whatever the Pats are doing. They're fans, and I appreciate them at times, but sometimes they just gotta know their place and just understand that it's a work in progress. Rome wasn't built in one day.
They have to know their place. For the last 2 seasons, the Patriots have given you a huge middle finger with their play on the field. But what's really been interesting about this season is that the Patriots, their owner, their coach, and their players, once the game is over, have just hawked a huge loogie and just spit it right in your face. Right in your face. The fans have to know their place, Jelani. You know where their place should be at this point? On the couch. Because the fans you're talking about that you could actually hear and communicate with, they're that close to the field, spend, I don't know, a couple $100 to get to Gillette, and to see that crap that you guys put out there week after week after week, to see them lose by 33 points. And you have the balls to say they should know their place? Maybe you should know your place, a practice squad somewhere else. Or is that just me not knowing my place because I'm a fan? Like we're not idiots. We know what bad football looks like. We saw it from other teams for years. When you spend money to go to that game and you buy the tickets, you buy the parking spot, you buy the beers and the hot dogs and the jerseys and the sweatshirts and the knit caps, and you watch this team every week, you have every right to go out there and boo when they put out that kind of performance for 2 years now. I mean, you could even go back 3 years or 5 of the last 6, whatever you want to say. It's a crap organization right now. And to hear a player say that after a game, after that performance that they put out, it's sickening. Guys, it's awful. And this is what the Crafts must hate the most. Not only does the team suck, they are a PR nightmare right now. Nightmare. The head coach is throwing his assistant coaches under the bus, throwing his players under the bus, and now the players are telling the fans that they can't boo, that they need to know their place, that Rome wasn't built in a day. This is not Rome. This is Fall River, Massachusetts. It's what you're building right now. Flint, Michigan. Shitholes. That's what you're building. And you have the balls to tell the fans, hey, screw you. We're not only going to show you this shit performance on the field, but we're going to tell you what you can and can't say. Know your place. Know your place. Okay? Because we're going to be here long after you're gone, Jelani Tavai. The Patriots will survive because of us, the fans. And hopefully, hope against all hope, it's going to be better than whatever shit you're putting out there with this team. I get standing up for your coach. I get it. But that's taking, again, just spitting in the faces of your fans. And it's embarrassing. Embarrassing franchise right now. And the reason, by the way, the reason why they're sticking up for Jerod Mayo, seems like he's a good guy and everything. Except, if you're one of his coordinators or one of his players that isn't performing. But the reason why they're standing up for him is because he doesn't hold them accountable. So, yeah, sure, sometimes he throws them under the bus, calls them out in the media, but he's not holding anybody accountable. Ramondre Stevenson fumbles, and then he gets the first snap of the next drive, first carry. There's nobody being held accountable. Jalen Polk, they're benching veteran receivers like Kendrick Bourne some of these weeks to get Jalen Polk out there. He's the worst receiver on the team, worst rookie receiver in the league. And, is that being held accountable for sucking, for catching 10 balls on 30 targets? That's why they're sticking up for the guy. Not because they believe in the direction of the team or the franchise or what he's building, the Rome that he's building. This dude couldn't build Rome, New York, let alone Rome. This is why they're sticking up for him. It's just an embarrassment. And I saw someone, I think it was Callahan, tweeted it out. Not to keep pulling this card, but would this have ever happened under Belichick? Of course it wouldn't have. Jelani Tavai might not even have a Friday spot on the EEI morning show if Belichick was still there. Like, this is, within a year, within 12 months, this franchise has completely fallen from what it was. The team sucked last year. But the way this whole organization is run has completely changed within 12 months. And really within 8. They had the friggin' bikes in the locker room in July or August. And Belichick is rolling over in his New England grave watching this. Truly. And yet the Crafts are just sitting up there. Bob's in his booster seat up in the club saying, well, let's wait for this to get off the rails. And again, I ask, what is the definition of this getting off the rails? Is it 3 wins in a season? Is it losing by 33 points at home? Is it your coach throwing your players and your coordinators under the bus? Is it having the worst roster in football? Is it players calling out the fans in radio interviews? Or is it all of the above? You have plenty to choose from to what you consider to be off the rails. Because to me, none of this has been on the rails for a while now. We don't even know where the rail is. The rail is at the bottom of the ocean. It's untouchable. That's how off the rails this thing is. And it's just amazing to me that an ownership group that oversaw 6 Super Bowl wins doesn't know that this is off the rails, that is okay with this, because that's what they're telling you. You know, the as much as it sucks that Jelani Tavai is in a radio interview, you know, basically flipping you off, the product on the field is flipping you off every week. And it has for 2 years now. And it has no signs of getting any better, which is incredible to say for a team that just has to do what they do every week and lose to lock in the number 1 pick in the draft. But what is the hope? With this coach, with this general manager, with this front office, where's the hope? Even with having the number 1 pick in the draft, because I sure as shit can't find it. And again, you have a guy who's supposed to be a leader on this team, Jelani Tavai, who has been missing at points this season, forgets how to tackle at points this season, and is telling you to know your place. Know your place, man. Practice squad, backup, rotational player on any other team in the league. An embarrassment. Talk about knowing his place. Jimmy Butler wants to know a different place. The Boston Celtics might have broken a once proud Miami Heat franchise. We'll go over that next on the Cam Show.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Download Blogify now in the App Store. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It is Matt Mosley, and it's the Obstructed View Podcast Rogue Media Network. I think they're learning that there's really no wonderful view of me. See, I feel like they think this feed's going to be really wonderful.
There must have been, no BS, like 20 scouts, 15 to 20 NBA scouts there to see him, and he was top 5.
When your old number wasn't working, I went through various channels to track you down. So unfortunately, you can never get away from me. But I'm happy. Man. I'm happy to have you today.
No, thanks for having me. And you know we always family, no matter where I'm at.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast. Look at this. We got one of the great golfers in the world, certainly one of the great pass rushers in NFL history.
But he also had a vision for you. And so it was like you had the best of both worlds, right? You had somebody on you early, and then you had somebody who was maybe
More relaxed.
What were a couple of your biggest takeaways?
The person you referred to that I spoke with, I've spoken to some personnel people and general managers of the league to get some, independent, objective assessments of the players the Cowboys picked, and we'll go through that. Has the general manager changed at all in the draft for him?
Nope, it's been the same since I was here the last time.
It is the Cam Show. It's Rogue Media Sports Network. Celtics with an exciting win last night over, who was it? Minnesota. Minnesota, they beat last night, 118-115. It comes down to the buzzer, but the Celtics really controlled most of that game until the last seconds of it. Minnesota kind of made it close after having a good lead in the first half, but it was Celtics bench pieces. Sam Hauser played a good game. Peyton Pritchard played a good game. But Jason Tatum goes off for 30. And we'll talk about that more in a second. But I do want to get to the most intriguing Celtics storyline of the day for me, which actually had nothing to do with last night's Celtics game whatsoever. Let's go to Miami, where the Heat had just lost to the Pacers. They have not had a great season, but are still in a playoff spot. They're above 500, which I'm not going to lie to you. The first couple of weeks of the season, I didn't think they would get to that. They're a couple games over. They're sixth in the Eastern Conference. They lose to an Indiana team that's been scuffling as of late. And Jimmy Butler goes to the podium after the game, and it's been a weird season for him. He's been out a little bit. He was obviously out in the playoffs last year. And Jimmy Butler has this depressing answer in the press conference after the game.
And I don't shoot the ball a lot, but we won't sit here and say that I don't play hard.
What will fix it? What do you want to see happen to fix it?
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
A lost art in today's media, the great follow-up question. He needs to get his joy back, and credit to whomever that was who asked the follow-up. Can you do that here in Miami? Probably not. This is a team that boasts Heat culture and how they all do everything the right way. They play the right way. They carry themselves the right way. Not unlike what we saw in New England with the Patriot way for so long. Of course, the Patriots, though, won championships. Miami doesn't do that anymore. And so they boasted this for years, the Heat culture. They put it on their jerseys. And here's a team that just had a tough loss, but is, making things work. They're in a playoff position here in the new year, and their franchise player is saying, I'm not going to be happy here. They have ripped the joy from me. I just want to hoop. Are you kidding? This could be the end of what we know as the Heat culture. And they still have one of the great coaches in the league in Spoelstra, and they'll put something together. They'll probably make the playoffs this year, but gone are the days of teams worrying about stubbing their toe in the playoffs against Miami. Because Jimmy Butler, Himmy, was the reason for that. Because he was such a good primetime performer. He's not even going to play for the Heat when they're in the playoffs. They're trading him. He's literally trying to force his way out through the media. He says, I'm not even going to be happy here. This is like John Wall in Houston, man. You got to worry about the guy's well-being. Speaking of which, Zach, I do want to bring you in here because this has been a good season for the Rockets so far. Talk about the turnaround with Ime. This has been a dream.
For sure.
Is there a reunion for Jimmy Butler? A homecoming to Houston?
While I wouldn't mind having, obviously, Jimmy Butler play on this team, I don't think that what the Rockets would have to give up to get him would be worth it. I think
we'll
that they
see
would have
something
to
like
pay
this. I
part of their
wonder if this
comfort
lowers
for.
the price.
Well, that's true. Or if not, like maybe you're the Rockets and you roll in and they're like, hey, so we want at least, A, B, and C. And you can tell them, well, no, you have a player that cannot find his happiness here anymore. You can get A and B maybe at best.
Yes, so Jimmy's 35. Okay. I think still can be an effective player, but he's not shown it this season necessarily. He's still averaging over 17, but he's taken 11 shots in the last 2 games in which he's played 52 minutes. Taken 11 shots. Like, that's not Jimmy Butler. I will say he's not the defender he once was. He used to be one of the best two-way players in the league. He's still pretty good on that end, I would say. He, from what I remember of Ime Ball with the Celtics that one year, would fit that Ime system very well.
He would.
Not, again, 35. He's not Jaylen Brown in terms of the age and the upside, but I think he could fit in that system pretty well. And of course, as we've talked about for the last 2 years, really, with the Rockets, as they try to turn this thing around and really rebuild, is like you always talk about the young talent and what is going to be, the veteran, who's going to be the veteran presence on this team. And I know this is a bad look, but there's still some of that for Jimmy Butler because that's essentially what the Heat were doing. It wasn't a full rebuild the way the Rockets, had to do, but they had a bunch of young role players and they said, hey, we need a guy who can come in and be a star and be that veteran guy. And that's what Butler was for 2 finals.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like that can be worse in a way because you have a guy who obviously can still like play phenomenal basketball in Jimmy Butler, but then the guys that you would bring in for pieces where they'd be like, oh, we really got to go get Victor Oladipo. Like that's the thing that we're missing. Like it was just like the pieces they would bring in. I love Victor Oladipo from 3. The dude's nice, but it's not the moves that you're like, oh, that's what's going to make us a championship team. It was kind of like, it felt like, no, Jimmy can do this much. We just have to give him a little help when he needed more help than what they were giving.
Right. I could see it.
Yeah.
But to your point, like the Rockets are in a good spot. I mean, obviously in the standings, but also in terms of leverage, right? They've got some capital there, but they're like, hey, this is our line. And if you don't want to meet it, find someone else that's going to take 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, who has told the world he does not want to play there anymore. Good luck.
I think the other teams I saw brought up were like the Warriors and the Mavs. And of course, I think Stephen A was screaming about the Suns earlier. Like it's going to be teams like that. I think it was him. It was like, if I'm the Suns, I do everything I can to get Jimmy Butler. I was like, okay. But it'll be interesting to see. I think that at least from what I know with the Rockets more so than any of those other teams, though, won't have to like give like the amount of young players they have. If they can find a way of where they're not going to get rid of Alpi, they're not going to get rid of, I see somebody more of like a Cam Whitmore, like, Tar Eason's probably not going to go, but like a Cam Whitmore, or maybe like you give up on, I don't think you give up on Jabari already, but maybe you do, but maybe they find some of those rotation pieces, the younger pieces to give off to Miami. But I think that there's no way you can cripple the core that you have just for Jimmy Butler. That seems like a very stupid decision.
Golden State's an interesting one for kind of the reasons I like the Rockets thing. Not, he's not coming in to be the leadership guy, obviously, in Golden State, but Warriors have really committed to defense this year. And again, not the defender he was 5 years ago, but when he's healthy, he can still move around and give you some good defense and be a two-way guy. And essentially you're bringing in a role player.
Yeah. Well,
he's not going to be a star wherever he goes.
You bring up a good point, and it was something that I want to get your opinion on then, because I brought it up to Scotty earlier when we were talking about this when I read this quote, is like, I don't see, at least me, and maybe I'm in a small minority here, but I don't view Jimmy Butler as a locker room problem. I never have. Like the situation in Minnesota, I think there was more to it than just him. Things in Philadelphia, we've seen what happened to things in Philadelphia. Like I feel like, sure, there are times where you can look at it and be like, Jimmy, maybe that's a little bit too much. But for the most part, it feels justified in a way of where it's like when Jimmy's upset and angry, you can at least figure out, oh, okay, I get why he's lost that joy there. Is being where he's not the main face, not to say that he can't be, but going to a place like Golden State where that's Steph's team and he can just focus purely on playing basketball in a way. Is that what Jimmy then needs to be able to find that love for the game? Obviously nobody knows but him, but is that a better role then for him? Kind of like Philadelphia, where there's other stars, it's like other people's team, but a lot better ran franchise in Philadelphia.
Sure.
Do you think that benefits him?
Yes. I will say, because I understand where you're coming from on these other stops, but I will say the common denominator is Jimmy Butler. Like Philly fucks up everything. Like I do get that. Like, right. They do. But Minnesota, Chicago, Philadelphia, and now Miami, the constant is Jimmy Butler with all of this. And this comment he made last night, it's not like he's throwing people under the bus or anything, but it puts your team in a tough position with that. So I think, but then on the flip side, Jimmy has essentially carried his team to the finals twice in Miami, so I also understand that. I compare it almost to Russell Westbrook because there was always some sort of drama following Russell Westbrook, but yet his teammates loved him. Employees of the team loved him, and he's settled into a role player role in a team this year that could compete for the title in Denver, right? He did it with the Lakers. They didn't win a title, and there were plenty of other issues there. But he seemed to understand his role as a bench guy who had once won an MVP and averaged a triple-double for an entire season. So to your point on that, I think that is good for Jimmy Butler. But I think the jury's still out on whether he is a locker room guy or not. He's always been kind of an odd guy, which doesn't mean you're a locker room cancer. But there's just something. There's always something following him. And I'm trying to think of a better example. Like Iverson,
I think your Russell Westbrook one is on point because Russell Westbrook is a guy that I thought the same thing of too, of just like, oh my goodness, here's headache Russell. Like when he first came to Houston, I just thought this isn't going to be good. I don't know what James Harden sees here. And by the time he left, I missed Russell Westbrook. Like that was a guy that like he helped out, the young players. Like he found his role in the team and he did everything he could to be a good team player to help out his teammates to like he never got in any trouble or anything. And like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, I might've been completely wrong on Russell Westbrook the whole time. Not to say that there aren't things that maybe warranted at part in times like you have with, we talk about there with Jimmy Butler, but I just feel like he's a guy that is able to help out, especially with Russell Westbrook. And I think that Jimmy Butler can do that exact same thing.
I'll give you another example like Westbrook on which this can turn out well for Jimmy Butler. This guy was younger, but another guy who the drama followed him and there just seemed to be something everywhere he went. Kristaps Porzingis.
That's true.
At New York, there's always the drama with the Knicks. They end up trading him away. Dallas, it was a big feud with Luka, and then he's kind of wasting away in Washington. Celtics bring him on, say, hey, you're going to be a big part of this, but you're not the number one guy. And you are actually probably going to be limited in what your role is. And he came in, was an X factor on a championship team. You saw what he did in the finals and playing through injury, and he is one of the most beloved players on a great team.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Butler could be that. Like, I genuinely think he can be that. And I think leadership on the court still stands for something, right? Yeah. And I watched him do this with Miami twice, beating the Celtics in the conference finals. So I think there's still absolutely that route for him to be a role player on a championship contender or championship team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And that's a great point, I think, of bringing him in, telling him like, hey, you're going to be a big part of this, but you're not going to be like the main guy. Helps. It's you know, it's still another sports analogy. It's when you're batting third with Barry Bonds behind you. Like, not to say that, you know, Steph Curry, but I mean, like, when you have a guy on the team that's the main focus, it helps you out. You're going to see more pitches to hit. You're going to get more opportunities to be able to shine and, you know, maybe find your love for the game back that way.
But make no mistake, the Celtics broke him. Okay, Miami might have broken him at the end, but but this reeks of. I use this example a lot. 10 years ago or so, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, Eastern Conference. This is how teams would react to Cleveland because LeBron was on the team, and it wears on you when a team is that good. And the irony of it is Cleveland's pretty good this year too. Cleveland's much better than Miami and can compete for the Eastern Conference. Like, I'm not saying Tatum is LeBron or Jaylen Brown is LeBron, but you're talking about an entity in the Celtics that they feel they can't beat. Okay. And they hate having them in the conference still. And this look at the Celtics of how good they're going to be on paper for a while here, it's probably like, that would probably suck the joy out of playing for the Miami Heat. And seeing the Celtics build this all-star roster, having all NBA guys and locking them up, and Miami just bargain binning and hitting on Jaime Jaquez, you know, with the 10th pick or whatever it was, 12th, 15th pick, and just continuing to do that with Jaquez and Jovic and Terry Rozier. And there's a lot on you when you're Jimmy Butler, and you look at the Celtics and you're like, boy, Drew Holiday, man, he can Porzingis. These guys are just cogs in the machine. That must be so nice. You know, Celtics. Celtics run not a great stretch here, by the way. Losing 4 out of 5 at one point. They did not play well at all on Christmas Day. And yet here they are. They've broken Jimmy Butler. They might have broken the Knicks in the way that they handled their offseason. And who knows if the Knicks are a better team than what they were last year and the thing they had going. The Celtics are just collecting pelts, putting them on the wall. Man, Cleveland will be next. Indiana, Cinderella run to the conference finals last year. They play well in the conference finals, and yet they still get swept by the Celtics. And here they are, under 500 at the new year. Like, I mean, the Celtics, man, they're crushing teams under their weight. This is what happens now. And it was an important game last night, by the way, Celtics Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards misses the 3 at the buzzer, rims out, which would have tied the game. And it's emblematic of that whole argument. Because we talked about it, Zach and I, we talked about it a lot in the offseason, actually, with that NBA thing on Netflix and such. Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum. That's become a hot button topic the last year or so, that Anthony Edwards is a better player than Jason Tatum. And the reasoning seems to be because he talks more shit. And there's an entertainment value there, which I get. We get that. But when you look at the numbers and what their teams do, Jason Tatum's a better player than Anthony Edwards. And it was emblematic last night. He doubled the point total of Ant in a game where Jaylen Brown was not playing and has not been right for a while here. Out of the game last night, Jason Tatum puts up 30. Anthony Edwards puts up 15, but boy, did he bitch to the refs pretty well. I tell you, he did that, which Tatum is usually all NBA at that as well. But that just went to show, like, hey, here's your one-on-one matchup. You hyped it up so much last year. We saw it in that Netflix thing. It was like they made mini movies about it, about Anthony Edwards being the next guy and taking down Jason Tatum. Well, you know, he's having a solid year once again. 24, 6, and 4 on 44%. It's not bad. That'll get you in the conversation. Jason Tatum, though, well, all he is 28.5 a game, 9.5 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game at 47%. So all the knock against Tatum was he wasn't an efficient scorer. Well, he's more efficient than Anthony Edwards. Well, Anthony Edwards puts a team on his back. Jason Tatum didn't have another All-NBA guy on his team last night and went for 30. And he's averaging more points, more rebounds, more assists, and he's shooting it better, more efficient than Anthony Edwards. So that argument for now is done. It was kind of a stretch to begin with, but that argument right now is done. And as I said last week, 2 weeks ago now, Jason Tatum is quietly having an MVP season. Probably won't win it because there's a social media narrative around him, an ESPN narrative around him, and he's got better players on his team than some of the other guys have, and that'll be a knock against him. I don't think it should be, but it will be. Whatever. But he's having a better season than Anthony Edwards, and his team's better than Anthony Edwards. They're on a better trajectory than Anthony Edwards' team, which is barely in a playoff spot right now. And yet you'll hear more about Anthony Edwards because he talks more shit. That's it. Like the only thing Anthony Edwards is better at than Jason Tatum on a basketball court is having a mic on his uniform. That's it. That's the only thing Anthony Edwards is better at than Jason Tatum is getting sound bites. So you want to keep hyping up Ant-Man and saying it's Ants League. That's great. Have at it. Jason Tatum's going to win championships and have better seasons, which he's done his whole career. He's gone to the finals twice. He's won a championship. He's made all NBA first teams 3 in a row. And he puts up better numbers than Anthony Edwards. But you want to keep hyping him up because he's fun and he talks shit. Go right at it. Go right ahead. Jason Tatum's just a better basketball player with better achievements than Anthony Edwards. But sure, yeah. Anthony Edwards had a better Netflix segment than Jason Tatum. Congrats. But that argument is over. The Celtics have broken Jimmy Butler's heat and broken Jimmy Butler's career potentially. And the argument of Anthony Edwards being better than Jason Tatum or wanting him on your team more than Jason Tatum, which apparently is a different argument, they're both wrong. They're both done. It might not be Tatum's league, but it's certainly not Ants. Okay? It's not. And the NHL is certainly not the Boston Bruins league. Oh, boy. We got to go over that game last night and their run of form because I was so sure this team was going to be in the playoffs, but that's getting jeopardized. That's coming up next on the Cam Show.
Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Join the Daily High Club, the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and accessories. Since 2015, we've sold over 1 million quality products and teamed up with legends like Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong. Ready to elevate your smoking game? Visit dailyhighclub.com for our El Primo subscription box or shop unique pieces today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but, you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
We are back in this little ditty we like to call the Cam Show, live on Rogue Media Sports Network. Talking a little hockey here. I have been locked in to the World Juniors the last couple of days before I get into the Bruins. This is something I used to watch a ton when I was in like middle school, high school, because it was school vacation. It always starts the day after Christmas and goes through, you know, the first week. We just went through the quarterfinals last night. And I think the U.S. is going to win this thing. But it's always delightful to see Canada choke. And the tournament is in Ottawa, and they went out in the quarterfinals last night in just got to be the most frustrating way possible. So they already lost to Latvia in the group stage, which is one of the biggest upsets in the history of the World Junior Championships. And then in the quarterfinals last night, again, at home, they fall down 3-1 in the first period against the Czechs. They gave up a goal in the first minute. And then Canada fights all the way back, just tooth and nail. They get it to 3-2. They think they've got it at 3-3, but it's a goal that's waved off for goaltender interference. And then Canada challenges it, and they don't win the challenge. So they go to the penalty kill, and still somehow they kill that penalty and they score to make it 3-3. In the final minute and a half, they get a kneeing penalty, which is, it was up for debate, I would say, that kneeing penalty. Canada got victimized for one earlier in the game. They got a game misconduct to Bedouin, and Czechs go to the power play and they score with like 35 seconds left, and the place is just dead silent. The Czechs win it. They're into the semis. They're singing Canada's goal song in the locker room. Like, it was just classic Canada choke job. It's the first time in their history that they've gone out in the quarterfinals back-to-back years. They're throwing debris onto the ice after the game, which included someone threw their Canada jersey onto the ice. Dude just doesn't want to be Canadian anymore. It was so great. By the way, all these kids are under 20 years old. Awesome tournament. But I was flipping between the World Juniors and the Bruins game. Bruins in Madison Square Garden facing the Rangers. It's like, thank God, man. You had a performance on New Year's Eve that you fought, but you didn't have the talent, and you lose a tough one to Washington, and that felt like a very winnable game. Now you go to New York. The Rangers are a mess. They're an absolute dumpster fire, okay? They traded their number 2, number 3 overall pick from a few years ago, Capo Caco. They traded him. They put their captain on waivers. This is a team that won the President's Trophy last year, and they put their captain on waivers a few weeks ago. Like, just an absolute mess. Shesterkin, their franchise goalie's hurt. They do have a very competent backup in Jonathan Quick, probably a future Hall of Famer. And the Bruins carry the game. Now, they gave up 2 goals in the first 13 minutes of the game, but they carry it after that. And still, somehow, they lose. They lose. And it wasn't because of a lack of effort. It was because of a lack of talent. And there are games where the Bruins are going to lose because they don't have the talent. It shouldn't be against a team that is in last place in the Metro Division. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be being out-talented by a team that just put their captain on waivers a few weeks ago. That shouldn't be the case. But I just thought during this game, but like, man, imagine what this team could be if they could actually complete passes to themselves. And I thought Andy Brickley was going to lose it in the third period because he's like, this is incredible. The Rangers cannot get out of their own zone. They give themselves all kinds of fits in their own zone. And yet the Bruins are trying to make plays and, feather passes through the neutral zone. Like, for what? That's not how you're going to beat them. That's not how you're going to beat anybody, by the way. You're not that team. You are not a team that is going to, create some havoc by some nice, crisp pass through the neutral zone. And the more they try this, the more they're going to fail. And the more they're going to fail, the closer they are to dropping out of the playoff positions. Okay, they are in a playoff spot right now. They're third in the Atlantic. But Toronto and Florida, who are ahead of them in the Atlantic, both have a game in hand on them. And the Lightning, who are behind them, just 2 points behind them, have 5 games in hand. And so then you got to look to Ottawa, 3 games in hand, 4 points behind them, and are 7-3 in their last 10. Maybe Ottawa can get there. Maybe Montreal can make a run. They're 7 points behind with 3 games in hand, but they've won 3 in a row. And you look at the goal difference. Toronto ahead of them, plus 13. Florida ahead of them, plus 10. The Bruins in third place at minus 17. Lightning behind them. Again, this is a Tampa team with 5 games in hand and only 2 points behind. They'll be in third place at least when the playoffs come around. They're a plus 36. They are 53 goals better than the Boston Bruins. 53. And Ottawa's a plus 5. Like Ottawa, I don't know if they have the leadership and the talent to get there, but if you're a plus goal difference team, you're in a much better spot than a Bruins team that is minus 17. Again, it's just glaring talent deficiency last night. Elias Lindholm makes some good plays defensively. They get a 2-on-1 late in the game. Lindholm and Marchand. 2 first-line guys. One guy making $8 million a year. The other's going to the Hall of Fame. And they can't complete the pass. Hops over Marchand's stick. It's like every game they play feels like it's 75 degrees outside with 80% humidity and it's bad ice. Every game they play. Because they just can't get the goddamn puck on their stick. How many times last night? And there's a play where Marchand has it right on the doorstep. He's in kind of an awkward angle. Quick's cutting it off. But there's no one near him below the dot. And instead he passes to the other dot to Pastrnak through 2 guys. It doesn't get there. Who would have thunk it? They don't have talent. They just don't. Because they outworked the Rangers a bunch last night. And Quick has a really good game. That second period specifically, he was tremendous. But when you don't have the talent to beat the New York Rangers, I don't know, man. I don't know. This playoff thing is in doubt. And I look at those standings and it worries the crap out of me that Ottawa's playing good hockey right now. 7-3 in their last 10. They're plus in the goal differential. I mean, that's, by the way, let's just look at that goal differential again. Ullmark did not have a good start to the season, but he's on a team that probably has a roster that is on paper worse than the Bruins, and his team's got a plus goal differential. You signed the other guy after trading Ullmark. You signed the other guy to $8.25 a year, who might have a better roster, and they're on a minus 17. Swayman's been playing better recently. But again, we'll go over the games where he's given up 8 8, 7, 7. Olmark doesn't have that. Kastelic been a nice bottom 6 piece for you, but for what? Team stinks. I'd rather just roll with Olmark, see what you could have got with Swayman. I'll give it a whole season before I just go all in on that take, but it's not a good spot right now. And I don't know. I've been saying, and we've been saying it with Matt Barry, who we'll have on next week. We've been saying, like, the teams behind him are not good enough. But I don't know so much about that with Ottawa anymore. Ottawa might screw around. And, I mean, they've been on the doorstep for a couple of years. They might screw around and get there. I don't know. I know that makes Zach happy. Zach, did you watch the Hallmark movie? I know we talked about it before the break. Did you actually watch it?
No.
Shit.
Why would I? Did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I should have. Our guy watched it. Jay Harang.
Oh, did he?
He DM'd me on Instagram. He said he watched it. I think he's going to make a review for it.
Okay,
So,
I'll watch that when it comes out.
I can't wait, but I should watch it first because I'll get a real kick out of that. No, we didn't watch any bad movies other than Love Actually. We did bear down and watch Love Actually. Did you watch any bad movies, Zach?
No.
Did you watch any good movies? Die Hard?
I didn't watch any movies, man. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I didn't watch anything. I can't believe I said that.
Is it too late to watch a Christmas movie now? January 3rd?
No. I think
I'm debating. So I've been sick the last couple of days. I'm going to lean on you for this, Zach. I've been sick the last couple of days. It feels like I'm kind of coming out of it, but I think my girlfriend actually wants to go to the college hockey games at Wrigley today.
Ooh.
And I really wanted to go, but I've been sick. I've got work. I got to record something with Mosley after this. I've got to do another Lockdown Baylor thing. Their games are at 4 and 7. I should go, right?
Yeah.
Tickets like $40.
Yeah.
It's my first time at Wrigley. It feels weird, not being an afternoon baseball game. But I don't know. It'd be kind of a cool thing to go to.
Yeah.
Zach is so excited about this.
No. Here's the thing. I wish I could go. Oh, I hate that it keeps doing this. For some reason, you can hear me still.
So excited about so excited about it. He can't show his face anymore.
Did that come? I don't know what's up with StreamYard, but I'll just add this: that yes, if I could go, I would so go because that is extremely exciting. I would love to go watch hockey at Wrigley. That is
I think I might. It's Michigan, Ohio State in one game, and ironically enough, I think the other game is Notre Dame, Penn State. I think that's the second game, which is a college football playoff preview on the ice. Notre Dame's got these horrible fucking uniforms that they're wearing for this game that I think I talked about on this show, where they've got the Cubs logo. It's like a white and royal blue uniform with the Cubs logo and like the silhouette of the Fighting Irish guy inside it. It's very stupid. So I'll probably go. And if I do, there are also games tomorrow. But if I do, I'll have a recap for you Monday. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are live here high noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central every weekday. We're getting back to 5 days a week after the little winter break there, a little Christmas break. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'd love to get some more subscribers on the channel and get that notification button to get notified every time we're going live, and then wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you on Monday on The Camp Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internx.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.